Okay guys, step one, you are gonna make your dye bath by simmering water and whatever you're wanting to dye your fabric with in here for a few hours. You can leave your lid on if you start to notice that you're losing a lot of water in your dye. Then at the very end, if you want to, you can, put your lid on to conserve the volume of your dye. Also, go ahead, what Andy and I have noticed is that if you add what's called a mordant to your dye bath, then it sticks to the fabric better. And so one of the mordants you can use is cream of tartar. So we put probably a tablespoon, maybe a little less, of cream of tartar in our dye bath. And we did notice a better color that came out. So that's step one, is make your dye bath and then let it cool. Look at our yarn. It looks like spaghetti. So we dyed our skein whole, like one whole thing. We put it in the dye as a complete skein, and we unraveled it and made these little loops called hanks, so that we could rinse them and they could dry without molding. And later on in the video, I'll show you how you can make a hank like this. But since we dyed it all as one, we do not have even coloring. So as you can see, some of this stuff is really light. Some of it's really darker.
Which I really like.
Andy really likes that. So if you want a variation of color, this is the inside here. See, it's basically white on the inside. And the ends there are really dark. So we've rinsed and we're drying now all of his little spaghetti yarn. If you like a variation of color, then you can dye the whole thing as one. If you would like your yarn to look the same throughout, then I recommend making the hanks before you dye and dyeing the hank instead of the whole thing. So if you want uniformity, make your hanks first. If you want a variation of color, you can make the hanks after you dye. I am making individual hanks, that's what they're called, so that they'll dry faster. And that, if you haven't dyed yet, it probably would dye better if you did individual hanks like this. So let me show you how to make one. You take your string and you're gonna create kind of a racetrack with your two thumbs like this. And one thumb is gonna go over the string and the other is gonna go under. So I don't know if you can see what I'm doing here, but I'm just kind of going around my thumbs like that. So this one's going under it, it's going over it, under, and then you can put your string in a bowl so that it doesn't roll all around the floor or the table. But you shouldn't see string in the middle, okay? It should go equally around like that. And do that till you get a really nice thick bunch. You could do more than that, but I'm just going to show you how to tie it off. So you get your scissors, have an extra length here, and then you're going to tie, I'll show you the finished thing. You're basically going to tie a piece of string on one end here to keep it from getting too tangled while you're waiting to use it. So hold your string out, thread it through the middle, and pull it out like this. It's a really loose knot. You can do it twice, so hold it out, thread it through the center and back through your loop very gently. There you go. And, all right, now you're ready for step 3. You're gonna put your skeins. Ours have already been dyed, so yours will look white. But, and you're gonna put them in 2 separate water baths before you put it in your dye bath. So the first water bath, you fill it with water and use a 1/4 cup of vinegar. And this helps to prepare the cloth, rinse the cloth and prepare it for dyeing. So you'll set all your hanks in here. You can use a large bowl for all your hanks. And then let it rest at least 30 minutes, but you can also leave it in there longer than that. Then you'll pull it out. You don't have to rinse it, just squeeze it. And then you're going to place it in another water bath. And this water bath is going to be your mordant that allows the dye to stick to the fabric. So it prepares the fabric so that the dye stays on. So you'll add some cream of tartar. I think we did a couple teaspoons, maybe a tablespoon, I don't know. And then I just put a lot of salt in there too. So it's salt and cream of tartar. And then let it rest for, you know, an hour, probably. Maybe a little longer, a little less, depending on your time. But let it rest a good little while. And then pull it out, squeeze it. And then you're going to place it in your lukewarm dye bath. So you can leave it on the stove, but it's turned off. Or what Andy and I did is we put the dye in a Ziploc bag. And we put our hanks in the Ziploc bag. And we let it sit out in the sun for several days. Okay, now we are on to our last two steps, which is rinsing and drying. This is string that has been rinsed and dried. This is string that I've pulled out of the dye bath, and you can see there's like little particles and stuff on there from our turmeric, and it's still wet. So what we'll do is you take your dye and you're going to rinse it. You could have multiple, this is just regular water, lukewarm water. You could have multiple baths if you want, or do it if it's like really low, gentle water, and not like super rushing water, but really gentle water should probably be fine. If you want to not use your bowls for that, you could do this. You don't have to squeeze it, I don't think, until it runs clear, but you want to get a lot of the excess out so that the basket doesn't dye your hands when you're holding on to it. So the last step is just setting this out to dry, and you want to have it dry in a place. This probably needs more rinsing. Look at that. It probably needs more rinsing, but because this looks a little lighter, so this probably still needs to be rinsed more. But you'll set this out to dry, and then you'll end up with your beautiful, lovely yarn that's ready to coil into a basket.